this time. Individuals wishing to comment on the rules to be adopted be recognized during the time when the rules are being addressed. The board will now recognize Mr. Greg Munson. Please limit your time and comments to 3 minutes, Mr. Munson. Thank you.
Greg Munson, Mesquite, Texas. At the last board meeting, Mr. Helmkamp reported record numbers of complaints filed and board orders issued for fiscal year 2008. The numbers reported makes it look like this board is really stepping up enforcement. Mr. Helmkamp was interviewed about the record numbers of complaints for a National Veterinary magazine. The picture that he painted for them is an awful lot prettier than reality. Sometimes numbers can be deceiving. I decided to take a closer look and would like to report my results to you today. I have done an analysis of the 85 board orders issued by this board for fiscal year 2008. 68 of the 85 board orders, or 80%, were for violations such as continuing education, drug and DEA license violations, and other violations. Only 17 of the 85 board orders, or 20%, originated as consumer malpractice complaints. 60 total fines were issued. Only one of those fines were for a board order resulting from a consumer malpractice complaint. Let me say that one more time. Out of the 60 total fines issued, only one was for a consumer malpractice complaint. Wow. There were 4 restitution orders. Of the 17 board orders resulting from consumer malpractice complaints, 10 of them received an informal reprimand. Informal reprimands are no longer reported in the online disciplinary records, nor are they reported to the national database. Now please listen closely. In 8 of the 10 orders resulting in informal reprimands, the animal in question died, usually as a direct result of the licensee's actions. That deserves another wow. There were 6 formal reprimands issued of the 17 board orders resulting from consumer malpractice complaints. In 4 of these 6 formal reprimands, the animal in question died. 1 of the 17 board orders received a restitution-only order. There were no suspensions at all issued for the 17 board orders resulting from consumer malpractice complaints. Please tell me what kind of a message that you are sending to Texas veterinarians with these actions. There is no deterrent value at all in these numbers. And this is just in a few cases where the board does take action. Let us please not forget that there is a 92% plus dismissal rate. Someone's pet dying as a direct result of one of your licensees is generally not worthy of being reported to the national database or listed online with the board's records. Does that sit very well with you? It leaves a bad taste in my mouth. Many board members and employees are fond of telling us that this is a different vet board. The faces may be different, but I am here to tell you the results are just as bad as they've always been. President Obama talks about change that we can believe in. That is what we are looking for from this board, and we have yet to see it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Munson. Ms. Galvano.
know if this is on or not. Okay, is that okay? Here we go. My name is Julie Catalano from San Antonio, and I'm the founder of VetAbuseNetwork.com, a consumer advocacy website established after my unsatisfactory experience with the Texas Veterinary Board System in 2000 regarding the death of my cat, Ziggy. Shortly after my complaint was dismissed and I began getting copies of the disciplinary records, after a couple of years I noticed something called the informal reprimand showing up on the records. I wrote to Lee Matthews, who was then the AG counsel for the board, and asked what this was. He wrote back and said that it was a new category of reprimand that would cover only violations that did not directly affect the health or well-being of an animal. He gave a couple of examples. One was the use of expired drugs, and the other was, I think, patient record keeping. Now, years later, we are seeing unprecedented abuse of this so-called informal reprimand. As Mr. Munson just pointed out, the statistics indicate that this informal reprimand is being used far too often in cases that are far too serious to be classified as that. This is completely unacceptable, but as things usually do when the board is involved, it gets worse. Not only have you evolved, or should I say devolved, a disciplinary action from a slap on the wrist to a tap on the shoulder, but you have also made the highly questionable decision to omit those particular disciplinary actions from your own website and the national database. Part of my testimony to the Sunset in 2004 was calling the board out on its failure to provide easily accessible information regarding these disciplinary records to the public. The public, you remember us, don't you? We're the ones with the pets, the chumps with the checkbooks, the ones who are entitled to know which vets violated which statutes, all of the statutes, all of the time. The deliberate omission of that information from your website apparently grew out of your failed attempts to expunge it from the public record after 3 years, which you were trying to do until Mr. Matthews informed you that you cannot have things removed from the public record. Shame on you. Shame on you for doing an end run around the law, all for the sole purpose of keeping as many vets happy as possible, even those whose actions resulted in the death of the animal, hardly the spirit in which the so-called informal reprimand was supposedly instigated in the first place. Once again, you thumb your noses at the public you claim you are protecting, when in fact it is the same old story, cater to the vets at the expense of our pets' lives. Now vets can breathe a sigh of relief that even though they got caught, their names won't be anywhere where anyone can easily find them. Once again, you tell the public, in effect, vets are, always have been, and always will be more important than the public's right to know.